And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the League of Extraordinary Podcast. This is a Circle of Heelz podcast. So this previous one I've been seeing here alongside with my brother from another mother, of course, the one and only, the director, CK1.
Oh, I'm in the presence of an actual director, so that nickname is only a nickname at this
stage name. That's the stage name.
Yeah. So I'm more like the sous chef to Brandon's actual IMDb page.
And of course, he gives the people what they want, ladies and gentlemen. One of the top podcasts up in the East Coast, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Brother Bo. Finally, we have him on. Normally it's a couple weeks in, now it's Bo coming on today. Dirty Heelz podcast. What's going on, brother?
Yo, hello, mi gente. What's going on? Circle of the Bay, Chris and Ivan. I love you. Brandon, Jose, GSW. We in the motherfucking place to be. Yo, check us out. Shout out to Coffee Weaston. He is not here right now. Usually it's always him. It's me today. I love y'all. Let's do this shit, man.
All right, let's do this. And of course, this man doesn't need really an introduction because he's been having one hell of a promotion, and it's been since day one of this promotion has been off the fucking roof. I can say that right now, ladies and gentlemen, but I have to give him an introduction. He is the CEO and co-founder of Global Syndicate Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, and alongside with him is Jose, of course, Mr. Brandon Ascari. How are you, Mr. Ascari?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, I will appreciate you. And also, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you purchase your tickets if there's still tickets available for the 2 Epic Night event coming to you on August 20th and 21st. That is in Ascari, New Jersey, and it's Global Festival. Make sure you guys actually purchase your tickets. And also, it's free on YouTube. Am I correct, Brandon? Is it free on YouTube?
The 2 night shows are free on YouTube this time.
Oh, did you have like a GoFundMe? Not a GoFundMe, like a. It's free content, but if you want to make a donation, feel free type of deal set up because I know a lot of artists do that.
In the description on the YouTube, and we'll be talking about it throughout the live shows.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. So yes, right, we are here to go ahead and discuss this 2-night event with epic cards they have. But I'm gonna pass the floor on to both to ask questions because we have a lot of questions to ask in regards to this 2-night event to Mr. Brandon Ascari. So Brother Bo, the floor is yours.
Well, of course, what's going on, fellas? You know, I already interviewed you both of you guys a couple of times, but now is it safe to say that you guys are established as a company and a brand, man?
I don't know if I could say that yet. I mean, we've had a couple shows, but we're trying our best. It's safe to say.
And now, you feel me? Has it been much easier or, more work? You know what I'm saying?
What do you think?
Roller coaster, man. Twists and turns everywhere. Always fun, though.
Yeah, but I think we're starting to, like, at this point now when things come up, whatever it is, we're just like, hey, you know what? We've done it already. It's not a big deal. Somebody calls out, something changes. First time we did it, we're just like full panic attack. Like the whole thing is ruined. What are we going to do? Now we're like, it's just another day in the office. We're fine.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's good.
That's awesome.
So we met mid last year before your first event, before we even knew what was going to happen. Obviously, the global pandemic was a big question mark. Since that first show, I think each show has gotten bigger and better. You've incorporated a YouTube show that tells the story of who can qualify to be featured on the pay-per-view. You now have an upcoming 2-night festival. Is there plans to have reoccurring big 3 or 4 events, or maybe your big Super Bowl style show where the entire year culminates in this one event? Could this Global Fest be that event for you guys? Or do you have something big planned later or earlier when the year rotates itself again?
So this year, Global Festival is like I wouldn't call it a season finale, but you know what I mean? This is like the big event that we're doing. And then we're thinking in the future, because we missed WrestleMania weekend this year doing like a big show. So next year we're planning our big show to be WrestleMania weekend, but still having a show before and a show or 2 after. It just depends. But yeah, every year we do want to have like one super ultra banger of an event. And this year, it's a night event on the Global Festival.
Now, when you say season finales per se, is that just a theory right now, and you're waiting for like a full year, calendar year to rotate to where a season starts, or do you already have that planned out? Like, are you calling it like season 1, season 2, like Bellator used to do?
Yeah.
Are we calling it season 1 and season 2?
Yo, Chris, slow down, Chris. I got you.
I'm so optimistic. That's all it is. I just want to know, because I love knowing that GSW is just killing it right now, and just I love all these new. We talked about how he wants to be more sports than entertainment, and adding seasons to it is a big jump in that direction, and I love that because
so
it gives you a chance to refresh.
Yeah, so High Voltage 100% is season based, and the last episode of this season is coming out Thursday, and then the Global Festival show, we're doing 2 afternoon TV tapings for Voltage.
Yes.
Season 2 of Voltage starts in the fall and will go until WrestleMania weekend. So Voltage is 100% season based. The pay-per-views, though, are just big events that fall in there. So they're not really a season. They just fall in place with everything else.
Now, I have a question. Global Festival. I have 2 questions. Global Festival. Why the name Global Festival? And 2 nights, of course. Why 2 nights, of course, man? I heard you say something about making it your season finale, but why two nights, man? Please.
So Global Festival is our version in theory of like a G1 or an N1 or something like that. Carnival. Okay. And we're trying to come up with a name that fits like what we're doing. And because it's a series of events, when we were planning it out, we also thought like, oh, it'd be cool if we could have like some bands in here and like a camp out and all this other stuff. I know. But we weren't able to do all of that stuff. But since it's down by the beach and the shore, like we're doing an after party, a meet and greet, all kinds of stuff, like come hang out by the beach. We'll have some drinks after the show. Like it'll be a good time.
That's what we'll but we'll be at. You know that's where we'll be, where the drinks is at.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's plenty of stuff to do. It'll be a hell of a lot of fun. And the name pretty much was the one that we came because we're like, we like the carnival, we like the G1 name, and we're like, well, what would fit for GSW? And it was, it was kind of a festival of events, and we are global, so it just sounds weird to say Global Syndicate Wrestling's Global Festival, so we just say GSW Global Festival.
I love it. I love it.
And how did the location come about, though?
Mm-hmm.
How did the location come about?
Asbury, as everybody knows, is a long-standing history in professional wrestling. Really famous with ECW. Iron Mike Sharp's school was there, and it's my
finisher named after it.
I live right next to Asbury Park. We share the same zip code, and I've always wanted to have a show there. The history of wrestling being there, it just was an easy fit. House of Independence is a really well-known concert venue. And it just, we talked to them, we worked it out. They have beautiful like TV studio quality lighting set up in there already for concerts. So we're like, let's just throw a ring in there and have a good time.
That's all right now. All right now. Now I want to touch bases, if you don't, and this is where, I think the company is really based off, man. These females y'all got, as far as Marsha, y'all got Allison Kay. You got Trish. Y'all got Deanna. Like, what's going on?
Sure.
No, man. This females division that y'all got, man. It's heavy, man. And if I'm not mistaken, y'all will be crowning a new women's champion, man.
That is the whole point of the Global Festival. Is we decided to do it in 2 nights because we want to drag out. We don't do shows as often as other companies do since we're starting out. So I was like, well, if we do 3 rounds of a tournament, it's going to take almost a whole year to crown a champion. I thought that was too long. So we started in May, and then, all right, we'll just do 2 back-to-back nights and finish crown a champion, and then we're good to move forward. So we believe in showcasing the best quality wrestling in the world. That it works across both in all genders, male and female. We want to show the best men, we want to show the best women. And you make your determination on which match you like the best. So we're just all about putting out the best quality possible. And that's, I think we're achieving that with our women's tournament.
I agree 100%.
Well, y'all got a former NWA women's champion Feel me? I got a Impact champion right now.
Current knockout champion.
A
Taking out
current
legends like Rosemary, you know, like she's on a tear.
Yeah. And Trisha Dort, to me, a future ROH women's champion, man. Y'all got a quite a little squad, man. Y'all got quite a little squad on y'all hands, man. That's dope. That's definitely dope, man. That's definitely dope, man. How is working with the females? Is it more easier than working with the guys?
1,000 times easier. You literally just send them some notes and they're like, okay, cool, no problem, we're good.
Oh my God.
You're working with the guys, they're like, well, brother.
What do you think that is? Do you think that's a confidence in their character thing, or their unwillingness to change something about what already exists in their development? Or, I mean, I'm trying to beat around the bush with the word ego, but essentially that's what I'm trying to say.
What do you think?
I wouldn't say it goes there with any of our guys. All of our guys are pretty, you know, they play along, they do what we tell them, you know.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of it boils down to it's just where they're at in their career. A lot of the women we're talking about are on television, you know, almost every week in big companies, and they just, okay, this is what I got to do. I'm used to going out and hitting my time cues because we're on TV. If they tell me we have 8 minutes or 20 minutes, we hit our time. So it boils down to just the experience factor. And I think on our roster, we have more experience in our women's division than we do in our men's.
I think that they're, I wouldn't say hungrier because they're already on TV, but getting that platform, they take it very seriously, especially because I tell them every time, you know, I'll do the guys. I'll do the guys. You see, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it because I know you can.
Yeah.
Now,
right?
You guys, you're talking about experience, egos, and stuff like that. Y'all got a debut ego coming through soon, man, within the wrestling god Moose, man. How is like that ego is like humongous. How did you get that ego to come into play, man?
Actually, he reached out to us. He wanted to work with us.
Oh,
He gave us a phone call. He said he wanted to work with us, and we thought, well, we have a wrestling god coming to the company. Let's put him against one of our biggest, baddest monsters and see if he can. Yep.
I cannot wait for that match. That match is going to be epic to see. Just to see Wrecking Ball, and I'm pretty sure it's an honor for him as well to be in a ring with Moose, and I'm pretty sure the first time for him as well. I wanted to ask, since seen by far all these titles that you introduced right now, with obviously with the women's championship coming up on the second night, do you have any in your plans in the future of doing also for like the tag team division, like a tournament, for example, maybe?
Good question.
I don't know if we're going to do a tournament per se, but we do plan on having tag team champions crowned at our big WrestleMania show. I could say that much.
The Blood Brothers. The Blood Brothers. I'm going Blood Brothers, man. I am going them all the way. Blood Brothers. I'm going Blood Brothers. Yeah, man.
And I mean, just seeing, and also I'm really looking forward for the Hammer, for Hammerstone and Macklin. I think that's night one.
Yep.
Oh, I think it's going to be a heavy hitting match, in my opinion. It's going to probably, might steal the show for night two. It might, just the way it all depends, because you have the night one is really stacked up, and especially I'm looking forward for Gio Galvano and Austin Aries.
Oh man,
that's one match that I think we've all been waiting for. And when Chris and I were watching the other show, the previous one, I knew it already. I'm like, yep, Gio's gonna call him out, and I told him to, even when we had him on the show before, you gotta wrestle Austin Aries one time, and he did it. And what shocks me that I see that night two you got Yoya. Yeah, that's what shocks me. And Yoya is, people who are not familiar with Yoya, he's a mixed martial art fighter, and he's been in game changer wrestling as well. The guy has credentials, and he's a shooter weight for a reason.
Yep.
So
Yoya debuted with us on High Voltage against Robert Marco, who's another one who is absolute like savage technician as far far as his ring skills go. So whoever wins night one, that's going to be a fantastic matchup night two as well.
Oh,
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the booking of that real quick. It's not always where you see the championship match in essentially the semifinal
Yes.
bracket,
I agree.
where it's usually the two challengers on night one and then versus the champion on night two. I know there's a pre-existing feud with Gio and Aries, so it makes sense to have them definitely fight. Was that the idea, instead of having Yayo versus Aries and the winner gets Gio, just to get that feud out the way? Like you traditionally would say the two challengers one night gets the champion the next night.
Right.
Well,
So
that story just built itself, man. That story with Gio and Aries just built itself to me, man. You know, so I mean, I don't know. I might be wrong.
the Gio and Aries had to happen. That's the storyline. But the idea of the next gen belt is, this is our up and coming championship. So that belt has to be defended on every show. So whoever,
even if it's back-to-back nights, man.
What?
Even if it's back-to-back nights,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
They're put the belt up on the line. So and Hammer, you know, whether he wins or not, he's not defending the belt the second night. So no matter what happens, you know, we don't know who's walking out, but the belt's not being defended the second night because of the importance behind crowning the women's world championship that
absolutely. And another thing too that I'm pretty sure you've been asked by pretty much a lot of podcasters, because you have pretty much in your hands to make this match happen that Mr. Cord Brower has not done, and that is Jacob Fatu and Hammerstone. I'm assuming that, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I apologize for assuming. I'm pretty sure Cord Brower was like, "Don't make this match happen before my show." I'm pretty sure he probably told me that.
You made it first. You made it happen first, man.
You can make it happen, yeah.
You
Yeah,
made it first.
theoretically it's possible, but no one's willing to do it. That's reserved for MLW, and that's totally fine. We're trying to make friends, not enemies. So if this is something we're building towards, please don't put these two in the ring. I respect it. Although we did Matt Cross and Jacob Fatu at our show, and then not 2 months later, those people decided to have him challenge for the championship. So, you know.
Yes, I remember that.
Not reciprocated, but it's okay.
Hey, now you did it first, though.
Yes.
I want to ask y'all guys about y'all, you know, y'all ranking system. How do y'all rank y'all? Because I don't think I asked y'all. How do y'all rank the people who's going to be next in line for a world shot after Hammerstone or whoever?
It is the easiest ranking system on the face of Earth. Go out there, have a kick-ass, show me that you deserve an opportunity, and you get it. It's that simple. It's nothing other than just talent. If you are the best in the ring on the microphone, you go out there and you have the quality match that it takes to really earn a shot at the title, then you're in line.
Yeah. No, I dig that.
I dig it. Yeah, I dig it too. Can you say that the the next gen championship itself, it's like your intercontinental or your European type of way, or like a junior heavyweight? How do you consider like the next gen?
It's better.
No, the next gen championship would be like, I don't know, maybe like an NXT champion. Would be the best way to compare it. Your dream open weight title, what Wrecking Ball has, that would be your similar to like a US title, intercontinental, never open weight, something like that.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm seeing on the website listed that Masha Slamovich is the Soul of Syndicate champion, and being a female champ, or female and a champion, she's still obviously eligible to be in the women's division for the not women's heavyweight champion, but the women's title. Theoretically, if she wins that, she'd be defending both, or is one title going to get absolved? Or
double champ, man, double champ.
If she won both belts, she would be a double champ.
Oh yeah, that's what's up.
Which means she may have to work 2 times every show and defend both belts. You never know.
And if that's what she wants, she works for it.
Yeah,
ready.
I would watch out. We're not too happy with her right now, but
I know. I saw the last event. She went ballistic crazy. He kicked her out of the building, but she still came in and she caused chaos.
We have doubled down on security for this show, so hopefully we won't have that same issue twice. But God only knows. She
Right.
is.
Now, I hear you guys talk security, other safety precautions. Where are y'all guys will be giving out masks? Are we still practicing social distancing and stuff like that? What are the safety precautions, for this event?
I mean, we follow whatever the government guidelines are. So right now in New Jersey, there's nothing, no social distancing, no mask requirements, as long as you're fully vaccinated. So if you're not vaccinated, you do have to wear a mask. We will have some masks and sanitizing stations on hand, but no, there's no social distancing. Actually, the GA section, standing room only. So try not to cough, I guess. But yeah.
California has been back and forth still. We just don't know what the hell's going on. Do you guys still hear rumors or threads of it going in the direction back to where it was a year ago, or are you guys less stressed about it?
New York is our next door neighbor. New Jersey follows usually with whatever New York does. And it sounds like in New York, it's going in a backwards direction a little bit. So it just depends, whatever happens. We're hoping we'll make it past the August show before any restrictions come in, because with such a big 2-night event like this, it would really work for us.
We're monitoring the situation as closely as we can.
Yeah, it's really day by day. Yeah.
Cool.
What's the capacity? How many people are you actually expecting? Do you even know?
I mean, nobody. I would say really we haven't had our big influx of ticket sales yet. We've had anybody who's like diehard fan bought their tickets already. But the ones who are like, well, I don't know what I'm doing in a week and a half, which is most of us, are just starting to trickle in now. So our sales are going up pretty good. We still have tickets available for the 2-night shows and for the TV tapings. But our maximum capacity is 200.
I'm losing my voice both nights.
I don't know that area. Nice. I obviously don't know the area very well, but I know you said, is it on that infamous or famous Jersey Boardwalk? Is that where it's being held, or is it nearby?
So it's the way that Asbury Park works. The boardwalk is like this, and then the downtown's on the street that connects to it. So we're like right here. We're in the downtown area, and then the boardwalk is like Convention Hall.
So the question I have is there is a potential to have some foot traffic hopefully walk by and be like, oh shit, I got nothing going on. There's a pro wrestling event. Let's go.
A ridiculous amount of foot traffic on the summer right by the ocean. Probably a good 20,000 people that weekend.
That was the fantasy I had in my head of what I envisioned when you were talking about the location. I'm like, dude, if there's people walking by this thing, I'm hoping like you round up the ticket sales just into the foot traffic alone.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna like the day of. We're thinking we may get a couple brand ambassadors again, just to hit the boardwalk and be like, "Hey, wrestling show happening in like 20 minutes. Get your hot dog and go. Come on."
send out some wrestlers before the show. Be like, have them just like send out flyers like bands do. Just
we just did that with Gio. He was with us on the boardwalk. We had a couple ambassadors.
He's the greatest, man. He's the greatest.
Was he was in full wrestling gear, right? I hope.
No, he was in a GSW t-shirt, I think.
Okay,
cool. He was getting made fun of because he was wearing cargo shorts.
I saw
like next gen champ in cargo shorts, really? Okay.
Yo, that's dope, man.
One match that I want to speak about that it was like, what? Wait a minute, how did Brandon make this happen? Just David Richards. Yeah, you already know. How did you make that happen? Because look, I'm a big fan of David Richards. I've been following his career since PWG days to Impact days, Ring of Honor. Oh yeah, and obviously Josh, another great Canadian wrestler. Oh man, he's a great technical wrestler.
Yeah.
How did this match come in fruition? How did you make this happen?
So the funny thing is, we were the first company to reach out to Davey Richards and see if there would ever be any interest in coming back to professional wrestling. And he's like, nobody asked. I never thought about it. Yeah, I mean, I'd be open to it, but there was something where he couldn't start wrestling until like the end of June or something, or the beginning of July. I think it was something with insurance or whatever. So he was able to make the appearance for us in May. And afterwards, I mean, everybody booked him now that he's back. Yeah. And he reached out the other day and he's like, thank you for bringing the fire back. I appreciate it. And I want to test myself in as many ways as possible. I said,
Yeah.
well, really, you're sure you want to test? Because we'll test you. All right. Want to test? Let's get it one of the best in the freaking world today and put you in the squared circle against him. And let's see, can you hang after being retired for a few years? I don't know. So we're giving him the best test we can and see what happens.
And you gave him Josh Alexander for God's sake.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Now, being the fact that he's also signed to MLW, is he also a full-time member of your roster also, or how does that go? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I mean GSW, we run like 3, 4, 5 shows a year, so nobody's full-time with us, and we don't expect anybody to be. He does consider us home, just like MLW.
Okay. All right.
Our wrestlers are like, I wrestle for other people, but you guys are also like home. So we try to work out dates with everybody because we don't want to, try to take tickets away from other companies.
Yeah.
So when we research a day to have a show, we look and see, is anybody else running? Okay, no, then we'll pick this day. So that way we have availability from talent as well as we're not trying to take tickets from other people. So generally speaking, we don't have too big of an issue when it comes to booking for our shows, especially since we ask like 5 months in advance.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, we find out about our next booking like 2 weeks before the show. I'm like, nah, you'll know like 3 months in advance at least. So
That's awesome.
Okay. Travel. How was with the travel hotels with some of these superstars, man? I know some of these guys like to live big, man. Some of these females like to live big, first class and stuff like that. So how was that?
We haven't had anybody I shouldn't say that. We inquired about one person who we really wanted to bring over, and they required first class flight, 5-star hotel, all that. I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. So we couldn't work with that person.
You better take the hotel fix, man.
Case right now is we're in Asbury Park, peak season in the middle of the summer. So if you want to be in the beachfront hotel, it's $700 a night for a basic room. Nobody's staying there. We have them a little bit outside of town, and we're just going to have a car, bring them over to the show. So they're in a good place, but it's not going to be right on the boardwalk because I can't afford to stay in the boardwalk myself.
Now you said I know how many shows you do a year. It's 5 main shows plus high voltage. It's you and Jose. Can you guys talk about what duties have you relegated to each other and what your strengths are and why you guys chose or assigned those duties? Maybe Brandon's better at something, maybe Jose's better at something, and you were like, let me have you handle this. How does that dynamic work between you two?
That's easy. Just managing the boys and girls, and I'm good at the production stuff. So,
okay, so gotcha. So he's he's feet on the ground, and you're more.
No, he's boots to asses.
Boots to asses. Oh yeah, got it. That was easy.
30 Heelz, you've been to her show. You see me running around like a chicken without a head.
Yep. Yo, I
know you know what I'm talking about.
I seen you.
The last show I probably did 10 miles on foot.
Just get a Fitbit, man. Fucking find out.
Your iPhone tracks it. You don't even need that.
Oh shit.
Now, has it got any easier though? Running the shows, like, is it less running with your head cut off now though that y'all done ran a couple of shows? Is it everybody's in routine? They know what to do. Besides when y'all want to do something special, it's pretty much everybody knows what to do when it comes out of high voltage and stuff like that, right?
So at least from my perspective, me and him have both been in the locker room before. This isn't our first show wasn't our first rodeo. So we never, when I say running like a chicken without a head, it's not from inexperience. It's literally this person's over there. This is happening now. Damn. So
finding the lost ducks as they're running. And one thing that is going to change. Our previous venues, it was a lot of, we have an empty room, and from a production standpoint anyway, I care a lot about the look of the building, creating a stage, making it unique to GSW. The good thing about the venue that we're going to, House of Independence, is it's turnkey. They have the lighting rig already built in. They have a stage built. They're setting all the ramp up and everything for us. So in terms of like how much elbow grease we have to put in, I don't have to rent the U-Haul the day before, drive to 4 spots in Jersey to pick up the truss and the monitors and the lights and all this shit, drive to the show, build everything, break it down, load the truck next day, waste the whole day returning everything. This is just show up a couple hours before the show, set up the cameras, and we're ready to go.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to ask y'all guys, before the cameras start rolling, how do y'all all get into, like, you know, battle mode, war? Like, do y'all all together, y'all pray, y'all give each other like a chair, you know, a pep talk, like the roster? How do y'all all prepare for a show before, you know, the crowd is already there? It's 5 minutes to airtime. How do y'all get prepared? How do y'all know?
All of the above.
Okay. Okay.
Does someone generally lead those like pep talks, or is it whoever steps up, or is it one of you guys, or maybe like a veteran like Austin?
At least in the locker room, 5 minutes to the thing, while you're upstairs getting everything in place for everyone at home or in the venue upstairs. I'll go and I'll say a couple of things, and then everyone, because we have such a camaraderie, even if we don't like each other's guts most of the time, it happens. But you know, there's this feeling going into a show where that camaraderie of the business, that brother, outside of everyone, and then we all chime in with our own little things.
Yeah,
and that's part of why I like the whole global thing, because it even permeates to the locker room in that sense, where all the different cultures kind of just come together. And all the different backgrounds in the biz come together to do their own little version of the pep talk.
Global, it comes off as, in a way, sort of a all-star of
who's who?
Who's who. I want to say non-WWE promotions, indie promotions, all sort of do come together. I mean, like, obviously you have Hammerstone, you have Deanna Purrazzo, who's tearing it up right now. You have Gio, who's, I would say, is one of the best indie wrestlers and all-star teams, or say past year veteran, coming together in the global word. I mean, you have Yayo coming in, or that's not the right word. Yoya? I can't say it. Correct me. Okay, I was like, that's not the right word at all. An international star, not Yayo, not Tony Yayo. So the global word is really starting to take development with stars coming from other countries as well. So everyone has a little bit of their own respect to bring to a talk like that before the show.
100%. And one I'd say has really stepped in a lot for us has been Austin Aries. He you know, he's been coming to the shows lately and just volunteering to help out, doing what he can, talking with some of the younger guys, sharing some advice and stories with them, at least the ones who he likes.
You know, he has a history, man.
He has a history. We all know his history.
No, but he's really been a massive asset, and that's one thing I want to make clear to everybody. And at every step of the turn, I want to say, like, to try, and because of all the things that people say about him, 100% not true. The man's been an absolute pleasure to work with, and always goes the extra mile to help us out.
Would you say changed man?
I mean, I didn't know him back then. So I don't. I only can judge a person's character from what I know, and I can say the man's fantastic. So,
well, since we're talking about that perspective right there, of your perspective of knowing him as, I obviously have never met him. Were there? Let me know if this is too much of a shoot. Were there worries that his reputation preceded him when you first brought him into the company, and when did that start to change? And you were like, his reputation that we may have thought of before he was here is not that at all. Did that happen immediately? Was there a changeover?
So, funny story. I had texted him with an idea of something that I wanted to run past him. And I just remember him like, we need to talk. And then I got a phone call and I'm just like, oh, fuck. I think I made a mistake here. I'm like, I'm going to get reamed like Jesus. And then it was like the most polite, like educational conversation I ever had. And I was like, that did not go how I expected it to go. This is great. And then, you know, we figured out what we wanted to do, and he's been helping out. And especially now that we have a lot of networks that are going to be considering for things in the future, he's like, hey, you know, if anything comes through with that, you need somebody to help, like as an agent or manage, like figuring out, you know, how to put the pace the show like to an actual time standard, I'm more than happy to help. I was like, okay.
That's good. That's what I like about y'all, man. You know, y'all, yes, of course, y'all new a new promotion, a new brand, but you guys, you know your way around the industry. You know what I'm saying? The business very well, man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Talk to you previously times, meeting up with you guys, even doing this right now. Y'all, it's like y'all guys are mentally already prepared, man, and I think that's real good. And some of these promotions out here are not mentally prepared for what they want to do and stuff like that. So I commend y'all on that. Definitely do.
Mentally prepared either, to be honest with you.
It does sound like you have people
into, but then we're like, oh, it's that much. Okay, but we figured it out.
Well, good poker face then, damn it.
Yeah. but having experienced veterans who are open to helping without telling you, it seems like they're like, I have these ideas, not you're gonna do what I say or I'm not showing up, except for the 5-star hotel guy. That has to be a little heartwarming to just have that just a minuscule amount of stress release coming from people who are willing to work with you on a respectful, professional basis.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that helped, I think, a lot was when we first started, before we ever had our first show, we hired Jazz and we hired Dutch Mantel.
Dutch Mantel.
To get on the phone with us and, hey, we have some ideas. Can we run it past you? Can we get your advice, like what to do with the company and everything like that? And just to have that in the beginning. And same thing, even when we first started reaching out to people, they didn't know us, we didn't know them. So it's like, are these guys serious? And a lot of people said they were hesitant working with us because of the fact that we haven't done anything. Like, oh, there's a lot of people that are fly-by-night companies that are like, hey, whatever you want, come to our show, and then it doesn't happen. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So it was not all coupled with having those veterans in our corner from the beginning when we hired them, like, hey, we're kind of having an issue with some trust or anything before our first show. Would you mind talking to them? Sure, no problem. Then that kind of eased the situation when you get a Dutch or a Jazz calling and saying, hey, no, these guys are serious. Like, trust me. Then that helped. And then after they worked with us the first time, it was like, oh, wow, these guys really are serious.
Like wildfire. People we had reached out to ourselves started contacting us because they heard the environment.
Yeah, Moose.
I think that's literally the story with Hammerstone, correct? He was a little skeptical at first, but then Jazz got him on the phone, and then he called you guys. Was like, I verified you guys are legit. Let me come to you guys. Is that pretty much what happened with that?
Who smarted us up to knowing that that's how people felt. Like, he, from just the phone call with us, he could tell we were serious about it. But then actually Fatu was a good example, because we reached out to him and he never responded. And then after Hammer worked with us on the first show, he was bragging, not bragging, but I mean talking to Fatu
he was bragging.
Like, oh yeah, well, I mean, look at the big gold belt he's got. Of course he was bragging. I went over there and kicked ass. But no, he was telling a lot of people in MLW, and I guess Holiday was too, just like, hey, these guys are great to work for. Then all of a sudden Fatu hit us up like, hey, what's going on? So
awesome.
Now, no, may I?
Go ahead, go ahead, my bad.
We talked about all these vets and stuff like that, like Hammerstone and stuff like that.
Your camera went off. Oh, he doesn't get disconnected. He'll be back.
Undertaker got him.
Yeah, I know.
Pulled him into the.
But he'll be back.
As a heel, he just worked us, man. He's
like, so much heat, much heat. I hope he's watching still.
Yeah.
I'm coming to get you, boy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Another question I wanted to ask, I did see in the lineup too, was you have Richard Holiday versus Will Alday. Will Alday, I'm familiar with his work as well. Besides reality wrestling with Booker T, he worked in championship, working championship wrestling from Hollywood, United Wrestling Network, and by far, I mean, I'm seeing that you're bringing all these talents from different promotions. Has that helped, the promotion itself to develop the relationship with other indie promotions, like, for example, reality wrestling, Booker T's, or like maybe, game changer wrestling, or what else did I mention? I mean, there's another one, championship wrestling.
Yeah.
Any like
Any of them, any of the companies that have stars come from, have the company itself been willing to work and not just the star?
Yeah,
I guess.
The best example would be New Japan. Chris Dickinson, after he worked with us, he went back, gave us a glowing review to New Japan. They want us to start using some of the strong people in the future, give them some opportunities, and then, hey, after you get 1 or 2 people from strong, then you could start bringing over the guys from Japan if you want. Like, they want to work with us. And same thing, we're about everybody being successful. We're not trying to put anybody else out of business. We're just, hey, if your guys are free and available and they want a shot and we have a show we're putting on, we'd love to showcase your talent. If you want to use our talent, you're more than happy to. It's just spreading good faith amongst everybody, honestly, is we believe as wrestling fans and promoters and everything, we should all be successful together. There's millions of people out there that love wrestling. There's enough for everybody to go around. So let's just all have a good time together and spread the wealth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, y'all, I'm back, man. I kind of
What's going on, man?
Or you actually have a question, or are you just working us?
no, I really do have a question.
If your camera goes off again, I'm walking to your block.
Yeah.
Yo, the floor was good, Jose. Come through, man. Crisp in there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we talk about a lot about these vets and these guys. What about these guys such as Super Nitro, Mike Donovan, Anthony Gangone? How about these guys, man? What is next for these guys, man? You feel me? Because we don't want it to be to a point where these vets outshine these guys like Mike Donovan and stuff like that, Super Nitro. So how is the working relationship with guys like that?
I think Global Festival is a perfect example. Look at the event we're putting in all the young guys. You got Gio against Aries. You've got Wrecking Ball against Moose. You've got Gangone and Donovan going against Hammer and Holiday.
Yeah.
They're also going against Jacob and Journey Fatu. From our belief is that we want to create our own stars. And we're very, very, very dedicated to that, in that we're bringing in the best people in the world and putting them against these local guys that we love, who are the real workhorses of the company. It's great to have stars, but the idea is you got to build your own. How does next generation get up to the level that those guys are at? Is they have to work against those guys, whether they win or lose. The point is you get a shot against them. People Google or YouTube search Jacob Fatu. They're like, well, I'll watch anything Fatu's in. Well, shit, wrestling. Oh, I'll watch anything Aries is in. Oh shit, he's versing this guy Gio. I didn't even know he was still wrestling. All right, well, here we go. And they check it out, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, now they get exposure, and that's what we want. It's all about exposing, everybody and showing their talents.
And cut me off if you want. But
okay,
you guys, you've seen the shows. I feel like organically, a lot of our has grown into their own. Like, Gio's been standing up for himself more confident in his abilities. So is Super Nitro. And now Wrecking Ball, just that promo the other day.
He's actually cutting articulate promos.
Great
promo.
Great promo, man. And it seems like y'all giving these guys, these local guys, some star push with this, with Global Syndicate Wrestling, man. Again, y'all may be small, but y'all names is out there, man. And I think that's pretty cool, man. That's
I was just in Staples the other day picking up paper, and the guy's like, GSW. I was supposed to go to their show in August. I was like, oh, I'm the owner. He's like, what? And that's, believe it or not, that's happening more and more. We actually had my buddy who's helping connect us to a lot of the networks has been reaching out and letting them know, like, hey, you're getting a box in the mail with an invite to an event for a client. And they're like, oh, I love wrestling. Oh, okay. Well, it's an indie company. They call us a boutique wrestling company. I like that.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
And they're like, oh, which indie company is it? I love the indies. And they're like, GSW. And they're like, no way.
Yeah.
And they're like, we saw their show. Their women are dope as fuck. Like, we love their show. I'm like, okay, this is good. It's worth it out there, man. People know about it. It's humbling, honestly.
Now, both touched a little bit on something I love, is that you do mix your own homegrown talent with the vets that people have heard of. We keep coming back to like Gio and Super Nitro because they're just standout superstars, like one year veterans essentially. Are people coming to you now for those talents to be shared, as opposed to like how you work, where you reach out to other promotions for their talent? Are people hitting you up like, hey man, we want Gio, we want this guy, we want, and kind of getting them to move outside of GSW and share the name with amongst other brands?
I mean, as far as booking is concerned, there is nobody who reaches out to us in terms of like booking their talent. Like, and same thing, we don't contact like Impact or MLW and say, hey, we want so and so. You just reach out to the person directly.
Okay, so is that happening?
Yeah, I mean, Geo, Wrecking Ball, a lot of them, they work for Northeast Wrestling all the time, but to be fair, they do work. But I noticed now the companies that they work in are starting to, because they were always lower card guys, or some
stock is rising.
Yeah, they see what's happening with them in our show, where they're really like going out and having like these crazy, you know, longer matches where they get to show their stuff. Then all of a sudden, oh, they're in a title match now on the other show, or oh, they're, you know, they're getting better. So it looks like whether they're getting booked at more companies, I don't know, but the companies that they are getting booked at, it looks like they're being looked at with a much nicer eye.
Better booking within those same companies, which comes with time and, you know, experience and notoriety, which is awesome.
Yeah, cool. Definitely, because you build it yourself. I mean, the way how you build it, you know, Geo, Super Nitro, Wrecking Ball. Now you elevated their platform, you know, they're themselves, and now with other promotions, they say, oh my God, yeah, they're a champ. I might as well book them, you know, for one of my titles. And that's the beauty of that, what you've done within the past year, within this year, of growing, you know, Global Syndicate Wrestling to this level, and having like both, like, I wish Chris and I could go be there in person, but, you know, we're in California. So
it's not unrealistic right now. Booking festival plane tickets, I'm playing in Virginia, and it was like $300 round trip. I'm like, that's not crazy. So plane tickets right now are not unrealistic for sure.
No, it's not bad. We got lucky because we bring a lot of people that we have to fly in, and we're like, for Catalyst, since we booked last minute, that caught our attention with the ticket prices. But we smartened up for this show. We booked them earlier. This flight was free.
Now, is there any guys that talent that's reached out to you, or you know, and you'll be like, no, you're not good for me, I don't want you, or y'all like open arms, like, hey, if they didn't want to deal with you, I'll deal with you? Is there any talent that you ever looked at? It was like, no, you're not good for us, or y'all more
I can personally say there's hundreds of people that I would never book. I wouldn't mention names or anything. It's just, you know, we're the wrestling company that you don't have to go and watch 20 shit wrestlers to find one good wrestler. We go through and cultivate the absolute best that we can find and that we can get. And so that way, when you look at GSW, you look at quality, and this is the best talent that you're going to find. I would say we don't have one bad wrestler on the roster, you know, because we care about it.
We do our due diligence. We watch the matches they send, and we evaluate accordingly. And then sometimes it's just not enough space on the card, or you don't fit in the right spot. So it's not always that you're, you know.
There's an old.
You said an old,
but sometimes there are.
No, I mean, there are. I'm not saying every person that we have not booked is garbage. I'm just saying that we get an influx of way too many. And yes, there are some that we definitely want to work with, but then there's also some that it's just never going to happen.
Yeah, there's an old managerial, I don't know, it's like a proverb or something, where it's, you can either spend 80% of your time with your bottom 20 trying to make them better, or 20% of your time with your top 80, and they'll make up the difference for you. And I think that's what you're talking about doing right there, is you basically are not letting the prisoners run the asylum, because they're not prisoners, they're workers who know how to work.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Same thing in casting for a movie, man. You know, you don't cast terrible actors because you could think, you know, you think you'll be able to get something out of it.
A good script cannot save bad actors. I've seen some of those.
Yeah, your job's easier if you work with people who are moldable and just get it. And we have a cluster of people who just get it. They're talented. You don't have to say much of anything, and just boom, it's magic. And that's the best way, I think, to do it.
Now, when people look at your card, man, it's fantasy booking at its finest, man. How do you guys come up with such a great, how do y'all build your card? Do y'all do it as, creative only, or do you have some of the wrestlers come in and sit, through? How do y'all build your shows and pay-per-views?
Do you see the dark circles here? You know how many times we stay up till 6 o'clock in the morning arguing about what we're gonna do back and forth? He gets it.
I had a full head of hair at one point,
Yeah.
It was getting there, but now it's turning gray too.
We finished it off when we started.
I got a solar panel back there, so you'll see me with bandana at the show.
That's how he's got the energy to do 10 miles.
The human Tesla.
I mean, we go back and forth on all right, we've seen some of these guys' matches at different companies now with our company as well. And it's a feeling out process of well, you have to look at what they do in the ring, how their personality is, and just, who do we think it would work with? With a lot of our local people, I try to get on the phone with them, 20 or 30 minutes. Let me get to know you. Let me get to know your character and bounce ideas of how can we make you fit in better, and how can we build you and make you a star, because that's our goal, is to make everybody a star. So those conversations, more with the acting and directing side of things, trying to figure that out. And then I'll take that information, we get on the phone. What do you think about this idea that we talked about when I was on the phone with so-and-so? And then just, all right, who would bring that out of them? Yeah. I think this person would bring that out of him. So boom, there's the match. And throw in the storyline or whatever, and there you go.
So after one of those hellish midnight sessions, you finally figured out at least one, however long they go, man, I can imagine. You got a card booked. You now just have to almost sit and wait for the card. Do you ever get to just look at something and mark out a little bit? You're like, man, I get to relax and just watch this happen? Or are you are you always just in professional mode? Do you get to enjoy the product at one point?
About 3 to 5 days after the show happens. That's when I could sit back and actually just take in what just happened. But the day, leading into the show, it's putting out any fires and making the show happen. The day of the show is making sure it happens. Then the day after is getting everybody back to the airport. Then the day after that is maybe rest. And maybe. And maybe I'll sit down and watch the show. But for me, I'm doing film stuff. So 3 days after our show, him and I are going and working on a film shoot for a week. And then a week or two after that, we're going for 11 days to shoot my first feature film. So it's one thing. Yeah. There is no break, but we could actually sit down and accept and absorb what we did and appreciate it, usually about 3 to 5 days after the show.
Cool. That's good. So, awesome. Obviously you can't at the event sit there and be like, damn, that match was sick. Oh, look at that spot. Holy shit. You can't do it.
No, I don't don't see it. He's running around getting people ready to who's going up in what order. I'm over there oh shit, something happened with the stream. We got to change this battery. We got to do that.
Yeah. Y'all guys don't watch the show. Y'all don't get to watch the show, man, because I'm still running the show.
Yeah, I'm there. I see the monitors, but that's not. It's hey, get ready to cue this graphic. Hey, we got to get ready for this song to hit. It's not like I could sit there and actually watch the screen. So no, we don't have that luxury.
Let me ask you this question: since you're doing the tonight event on YouTube. Is this the only event you're going to be doing free on YouTube, or moving forward of future events?
So I'm open in the future, and I want you to chime in after, to maybe making a high voltage kind of takeover style event where we would do YouTube. The idea for Global Festival is this is our network showpiece. So we are inviting all the networks, NBC, Viacom, MTV, Netflix. We've got executives from all of them that are either coming in person or watching the show. And we want to say, we've got whatever, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever, how many views we get. The barrier to entry is cost. Right. So we're trying to get the word out there before, our end of year So to get the word out there, it's like, well, let's eliminate the only barrier that holds people back. You know, we get several hundred pay-per-view buys if we're on Fight, but if we had 50,000 people tune in for free, then we look better to sponsors, we look better to networks, and we look better just in general for when we do have our next pay-per-view, because now a hell of a lot more people know about us. So for this show, it was, let's put our best foot forward. We'll eat a little bit of a loss on the show, but hopefully grow long-term because of it, and then gear up for next year, which is going to be, we're starting off with the joint Lucha show or big WrestleMania show, and we got a bunch of other stuff in the works for that. So it's a step back to take 2 steps forward, I think.
Yeah. Now, any surprises for night 1 and night 2? Any spoilers?
Tell us ahead of. Wait, Ivan, when is this? This is airing. This is airing before the festival, right, Ivan?
Yes.
It's already.
Yeah, so feel free.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So Shawn Michaels is going to come down from the rafters.
Yeah, definitely.
Look,
No,
I'm gonna be there. I'm still act surprised. Okay, I'm gonna be there. I'm still act surprised. Man.
Yeah.
Is it spoilers like something?
You know us well enough to know that there's always going to be something that we got cooking. So I'm not going to tell you what it is.
That's all we need to know. That's all we need, brother.
Something's going to happen. I don't know what. I don't know if it's in the form of an appearance. I don't know if it's in the form of the way that a match goes. It doesn't matter. Something always happens at one of our shows, but we'll see.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that. I wanted to ask about Joe Doring, because you remember the last event on Cadillacs, you had him booked, but unfortunately because of restrictions and borders. Are you still able to go ahead and book him in the near future?
Ironically, he just messaged me on Facebook 3 days ago saying that he can travel freely again. So the door's open. Obviously, he hit us up way too late for the global festival, so that's not possible. So possibly next year, we may figure something out where we could have him on. But, I'm not committing 100% to anything, because the problem with us is we book so far in advance with what's available that it's, and I would say there probably is an opportunity, because always there's a dropout, somebody doesn't show up. So if in the event that happens, he's the first one to call.
Yo, that's a spoiler for me, man. I can wait till next year. That's a hell of a spoiler for me. I can wait.
I love it. But definitely, Wolf, you're gonna have a great time going to those 2 nights events, and definitely, I mean,
sure of that.
Oh yeah, he's your hype boy right there, man. You gotta
look. I know I'm a party animal, man. I got y'all.
We'll liquor you up, and you just have a good time. That's it.
And make sure you give him a GSW shirt.
I definitely
GSW label blunt wraps, man. You got to syndicate that market, man.
Yo, man.
Wait, I don't know the laws. So in California, it's legal as cigarettes. How is it out there in Jersey? Is that not a topic we can discuss?
What
it's recreationally legal now, I think. I think they're still putting it into effect. So in terms of marketing, no, we can't do that yet.
Damn it. Because I got a weed shop next to a police station that I could walk into one, and it's like I said, it's as legal as cigarettes out here. Just can't do it on the street. But other than that.
Yeah, here it's still medical card.
This is just an ID. Are you 18? You're good. I think it's 18 too. I don't know if you even know if it's 21.
Nah, I smoke outside for free, man. No problem.
Yeah, that's how New York is. So you can just go around and do whatever. Just don't bother nobody, and don't carry a certain amount that would be misconstrued as
intent to sell. Yeah.
Same in Jersey. Nobody's gonna stop you. It's just not like you walk into a random storefront or whatever and you get whatever you want.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let me ask you this.
Burritos.
What you got, Ivan?
Jose caught me off guard when he said it. That's why. Oh shit. What I wanted to ask Brandon was throughout all the events you've been having, and I would get the upcoming one as well, do you feel by far it has been the best for you? Like how overall the success of GSW by right now as by far. How do you feel about it personally, and what do you expect now coming into the future of next year and so forth? So, how do you feel about it now? How it grown and how it's been now? You know, besides Bob and ourselves, but you have a fan base that actually will go to every event that you have now. So, how do you feel about that? Are you proud of the success of GSW where it's at now?
I mean, I'm very proud of GSW. Like, to me, I found GSW as like my debt to wrestling. When I was younger, I used to get bullied a lot. I've talked about that before. And wrestling was kind of like that happy place for me. So that was the thing I always cared about. I always dreamed of, like, I wanted to be a wrestler. This was what gave me happiness for several years. And I ended up not doing that, obviously. But later on, I started a wrestling company because I felt like there was something missing from what made wrestling so special to me. And my debt to wrestling, in my opinion, is trying to provide for other people the same thing that I got from it. And in that regard, I'm incredibly proud of GSW and where it's at, because it has, I think I shared on Instagram or Twitter, just some of the feedback that we got after Catalyst. Was like, this was a life-changing experience. Like, there's something special about GSW that you could only see to understand. And just like comments like that is like, all right, people get what I got. And that is the most humbling experience for me, that it actually is working.
I'm glad. And we cannot wait, especially for the tonight event and the future of what holds for GSW. And I know that you've been wanting to get, and I'm hoping it does happen in fruition, getting people from, from All Japan, from DDT, from Noah. I'm looking forward. If I was your writer, I'd be like, I would literally do like bring back like the Impact old days, like the X Cup. So this global syndicate, why don't we make it globally, bringing talent?
Yeah.
Right? Like bringing talent from around the world to like an X Cup style.
Yeah.
Well,
that'll be
the plan. We just, right now, I mean, the connections are there. We have the connection with All Japan. We have the connection with New Japan. We actually have a connection with Tenryu and his company, who just started back up again to run a joint show in Japan if we want. So we have a lot of connections that we could tap into. It's just with COVID so back and forth. We've been lucky with a couple people, like Aries is in Mexico. We bring him up. Alexander and a couple others from Canada that we've brought to the show. We've been lucky with that. To forego that expensive of a trip to bring somebody over, we're a little nervous about it because it is so costly. I've been to Japan, $1,500 ticket on the cheap end for basic economy. So it's something that we really want to do, but we want to do it when we're sure that it's not going to completely fall apart. We lose somebody here, which we have several times. We lose a few $100, but I don't want to lose like $2,000 because that's actually a good chunk of our show budget. So, just it's going to happen. It just, once we get things more ironed out, I think as a whole country, then we can do it.
Yeah, I like that. So, do you see yourselves, competing with these other companies, or y'all don't really just care? Y'all just want to provide the best kind of sport there is, and that is wrestling, man.
The only thing we compete with is the mirror.
Yes. I love it, man. Because you see what's going on. You see what's going on in the wrestling community, the wrestling world, all this competition. It's enough room for everybody to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see what's going on August 20th and 21st. I can tell you that.
That's a big enough table right there.
That's a big enough table. Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait.
My entire life, I've always been a believer in. There was an old story that came out about the two types of battles you could have: the finite and the infinite. And it's funny, and that's why Apple's more successful than Google. It has nothing to do with the technology. It has nothing to do with Apple than Microsoft. Had an executive that went and sat in with one of the executives in Microsoft, and he said, "Oh, did you hear about the new iPhone? And the guy said, yeah, but we got this new phone or computer or whatever. It's got this many gigs of RAM. It's got this many processors. Like, this one's better than Apple. This one's better than Apple. This one's better than Apple. And he's like, okay. He sat in the same car with an Apple executive and said, did you hear about the new Microsoft phone? He's like, yeah, man, it's great. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, we're just trying to make a product that's easier for more people to use, and we want the product to be better. Every time we put out a new phone, we want it to be better than the last. He's like, I'm sure that Microsoft phone does have better RAM or whatever than ours, but that's fine. Like, it is what it is. And that's how we feel. It's like, there's other choices out there. I hope they're successful, just like I hope we're successful.
Right.
We're trying, as a company, there is no end goal. The end goal is not to put somebody else out of business, because that doesn't answer what our goal is. Our goal is just to survive for as long as we can, make a living, and make as many people happy as possible. Putting someone else out of business or whatever does not affect that goal at all.
Right.
Only thing it does is put bad karma on us. We want everybody to be successful, and we want to be successful in the meantime.
Love it.
I love that. That applies to my background in music. When you have bands that are just like, they just get salty when they see another band play a show. We should have been on that show. We're way better. Or we have more, like, who gives a shit, man? Just play your own shows and have your own fun and have your own bands if you have to. Yeah. But having that, putting money in someone else's pocket doesn't necessarily mean it comes out of yours.
Yeah.
So I can agree with that. And you having that non-cannibalistic, almost new age approach to how you run your company is refreshing in a business that is literally built on the territories being absorbed by you-know-who in perspective of success. Yeah. It happens. I'm a huge MMA fan. I know, and Dana White is very similar to Vince, where he finds farm clubs, takes your talent, then takes a company, and now you have one. And that does not leave much for competition or development of talent. If you own all the companies, then you're not really, then you're just going to have to be cutting ties with so many wrestlers that could be coming up. We're seeing that right now. We're having another mid-year mass exodus from a main roster because it's either overbooked or underperforming for some reason, and you're losing talent back. Now, obviously, that's good for the smaller guys, because now you potentially could have somebody in your company that was just released and now builds your talent pool, as opposed to having to buy a company just to get that one guy, which we see a lot of times.
Yeah.
The only time I ever worried about doing better than somebody else was when I competed in powerlifting. The only way I'm going to win is if I pick up one more pound than the other guy. So there's a finite competition, but this is running a business is not a competition. And I would argue, what makes a movie successful? It's bringing in people from different walks of life with different outlooks on the product and the movie, and adding that to whatever job they do. If you have somebody who controls everything, then it's only one vision, and one vision has flaws. The reason why we do well, I think, is because we listen to each other, as well as anybody else who has an input that we have behind the scenes. And we work together, arguing till 6 o'clock in the morning, but knowing that it's out of love for what we're trying to make. So everyone has an opinion, everyone's opinion's valued, and we work together, because it could be that idea was not perfect, but then it sparked the conversation of what then develops into something that's perfect. And that's how you grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I genuinely love watching you guys grow, because you're the first promotion I've been involved with that technically didn't exist, as no events had occurred when we first met.
Yeah.
Going from no events occurred to it actually happened, to having the YouTube show, to having each event bigger and bigger than the previous, now culminating right now with the 2-night event. I'm just excited, like, humbly, as a fan and a professional podcaster, I'm excited to see what's next. I'm going to say that every time I talk to you, Brandon, and Jose, and good to meet you for the first time as well. But I'm just like watching someone else's baby grow that I was kind of there to see get conceived is just a wild experience right now. And I'm totally, humbly proud of you guys, just genuinely.
Would you say same here, man. Backed up what we said? Because I know we talked a big game before we had our first show. And that seems to be what every podcast I was on was like, well, you know, you got a lot to say. You guys are planning on doing a lot. So we're just hoping that we backed up what we said.
But you know what you did, though?
So far, you're on
Because
par.
You did the fact that when in the beginning, when we spoke to you, you already had long-term plans ahead.
Yeah.
And it became in fruition, and you've done it. Yes, certain people didn't make it because, unexpected it, things happen for a reason. But you got to, at least you right away jumped on and replaced it, adjusted, and moved forward with it. And that's phenomenal. And it's difficult to do. I mean, people like other promotions that I talk to, it's hard for them to adjust to that, to make a last minute change. Like, oh shit, so they'll lose it. Oh, I won't book it no more. Like, they'll cancel one match or they'll cancel it. But kudos to you and Jose for doing that, because you guys were able to do that like right away, and boom, you see the fans. Oh shit, they changed last minute. Oh, awesome. Yeah, and I commend you for that, for you doing that.
Sometimes
you did it.
Sometimes it's not what you say, man. It's how you deliver it. And y'all guys deliver it, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. If you don't know what's going on behind scenes, we wouldn't know that y'all guys have a whole issue. If you wouldn't talk, we wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? So y'all guys deliver. You know what I'm saying? And we again piggyback off of Ivan. Kudos to y'all, man. Nothing but big blessings for y'all, man.
Definitely.
Now I have to ask a question to you guys: is what was in each of you? What was your favorite match or moment from GSW so far?
Oh shit!
I like that Gio and Legursky match, because that told the story of a small guy. I mean, small compared to anyone small compared to Wrecking Ball. But to get that story out there amongst you guys who I had not at the time heard of, put my eyes on both of those guys right now. So to me, those are like your standout. Like, you say homegrown, obviously they can work anywhere they want, but homegrown talent for me are watching those guys go anywhere they want right now in the business, for sure.
I mean, by far for me, I did enjoy the Dickerson and Hammerstone. I enjoyed that. It was two big heavyweights, and like, I never thought we'll actually collide. And then people, when you might have made it happen, I'm like, all right, this is something good, and then seeing Macklin after, like, oh damn, Macklin out of nowhere. It's just that's another match I'm looking forward to. And I'm kind of glad that Hammerstone is your champion, because I mean the guy deserves it. The guy works his ass off, and even with Gio, I'm happy with the fact that you gave Gio his first world title ever, on high voltage, and I love it. I'm glad you gave it to him, and I think he's going to be your future star for sure.
Yeah.
He did get a little cocky though when he challenged Hammerstone.
Hey, I can take that blame because I'm twittering, hey, Hammerstone.
Your pun intended. Ivan was the catalyst for that.
Yeah. Hot.
Don't laugh at my bad joke.
Oh, good one.
My favorite moment is when Jose made his in-ring debut. You know what I'm saying? Right, Jose? Remember you made your in-ring debut?
Thank you.
Look, everybody was like, Jose, you remember you made your in-ring debut, Jose? That was my favorite moment, man. Now, my favorite moment is just Austin Aries and Hammerstone, man. Again, for what Ivan said, it's not, it's not the belt, it's the person who wears the belt, man. And that was a good choice. I really wanted Austin Aries to win, but any one of them guys was a good choice. So that was right there. The champion, that championship match was my favorite match. Yeah.
Definitely.
What about you guys? Back at you. Back at the guys who booked it.
What's yours? Let's see.
Mine was Gio and Supa versus Aries and Ricky.
Oh yeah, that was a good tag match.
Like pure in-ring match, it was the best. Story-wise, it culminated Gio and Ricky, as well as started Aries and Gio. So just all inclusively of multiple storylines, either finishing or starting, as well as like the match and the pacing was absolutely perfect. That to me was like the best that we've done so far, in my opinion.
Okay. I would have to say Jacob Fatu sneaking around the building and making his debut with us.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing whore, that he's just picking it because it had the most views.
Who knew? Did you guys know?
No.
Forehand? No, of course
No,
not.
not at all.
That building didn't know. Yeah.
Nah.
Everybody's like, I've been walking around all day. I didn't see Jacob Fatu. Where the hell did he
So
go?
someone like Jacob Fatu shows up
Yeah.
and runs into the ring to challenge somebody, you know that's a special moment. Especially
Yeah.
on
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and right now he's one of the number one wrestlers right now, top wrestlers. So you know, hey, man,
Not everybody's top 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the roster we have is top 10 and upcomings as well. I just can't wait, for what the future holds, especially and who's going to be the first ever GSW Women's Champion. That's what I'm looking forward to.
yeah.
Who do you guys think is going to win the championship?
I will say I'm gonna have to go with Trisha Durham.
Yeah,
She deserves it. That woman works her ass off for so many promotion,
yeah.
and she deserves it. I think it's her time.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. Same here.
All three.
Place the bets. Place the bets right now.
All right.
What do you got, Jose? What do you got, Jose? No spoilers.
I would just argue that it really could go anyway. Like a lot of people would say, like, oh, you got Allison Kay, you got Deanna, you got Trish, you got Vicky. It's like, well, okay, two of them have a lot more experience than the other two, obviously.
Yes.
But Vicky's pretty cunning. She could sneak.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is.
Trish is the Iron Woman. She could go an hour or two against anybody on the face of Earth. So, while Deanna and Kay have a lot of experience, I don't know. If the match goes 25 minutes, can they keep up with her at that point? And same thing, though. Deanna, you've got one of the best technicians in the world who's clearly proved that against Jordan Blade in the first round. And then Kay, absolute workhorse, who beat Hyan in the first round. It's just, honestly, it could go anyway.
Oh,
Tune in to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Tune in.
Right? Tune in to find out. And with that in closing, I want to go ahead and thank, obviously, Brandon and Jose. Thank you so much. And we're going to come back because we're going to do a recap once, the event, because I'm looking forward to talking about the aftermath. And I'm pretty sure Bo is too. And Bo's going to be there. He's going to be your mascot, man. Just make sure you give him a shirt. Let him run around the ring, let him everywhere. I mean, I would do it. Why not?
Yeah. No, but
I
thank
love
you.
that,
I
man.
appreciate the platform. It's always good to talk to you.
Oh,
Thanks
always,
for the
man.
video.
Of course, man. Thank you.
Very close. Nice
Solid. Solid.
Hey, no, thank you, Jose, as well, man. Finally, we get to meet the second man in command. So now we finally get to meet you now,
I'm
man.
gonna take the mask off now.
He's a stone cold killer, man. Jose's a stone cold killer, man.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the face, man.
But before we let you go, Brandon, let the people know where can they find Global Syndicate Wrestling. Shout out to social media.
If they didn't watch the previous times I was on Circle of Debate, you can find us on Instagram at GSW Pro, Twitter at GSW_Pro. Although I am curious who has GSW Pro on Twitter because we couldn't get it. GSWPro.com, Global Syndicate Wrestling on YouTube and Facebook.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be the description below on this video as well. Brother Bove, shout out the socials. Give the people what they want.
You already know this has been a Circle of Heelz League of Productions podcast. You already know it's GSW, Jose, Brandon Ascari, my man Chris, Ivan. I'm the good brother. We love you. We out this bitch, man. Peace.
And there you go in closing. CK1, do you have anything in closing before we...
No, man, I have fun every time, man. I'm just a mark that gets to pretend he knows what he's talking about with a bunch of people that are actually pulling it off. So I love talking to you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to tune in. A two-night event on YouTube, on Global Syndicate Wrestling's YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and tune in watching this two-night great epic event that we're all looking forward to. And for people that are out on the East Coast and the Jersey area, if you have not purchased your tickets, purchase them now. The link will be right below. Purchase them now because you do not want to miss this two-night event and be part of history. You got to be a part of this history, this season-ending history. Be there.
Yeah.
That is right. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in on Circle of Heels and the League of Extraordinary podcast. And to the next one.